Welcome to the third video in HallsNode. This is Halls of Valhalla. This video is going to be basically about the map system that I'm adding in. I was developing a MUD, still am for the most part, and I wanted to share the map system with everybody just in case I don't finish it, and just to see some other MUDs pop up. And as I develop it, I'm going to continue to give you guys the code and a lot of features I add in it as part of the HallsNode. I'm not trying to make HallsNode a MUD or anything like that, but I know this doesn't have to be a MUD. This could be used in a lot of different ways, and basically I just want to show everybody the system of transferring maps and things back and forth from client to server and things like that, and you guys could really build off of this. So just to give you an idea, here's the basic map. It's using HTML5 canvas. And using the MUD commands, and if you do an asterisk and you type, say, north, and you hit say, he'll move north. So let's go south, and then you'll see he's moving, and you'll see that the actual every map square, and I believe it's 12 by 12, so it's 144 squares here. It has a different stat. So that way, you know, areas may be have more lumber and less. And I didn't really base it off the pictures currently, but how I'm doing that is I actually built it to where you can build your own, you can kind of create your own little map pieces there, and it'll break it all out in the pieces. So you can put anything you want there, and how you build your map, it'll break it out. So I've got all that kind of done for you guys. If you notice, I did there is a media folder, and I added a player in this. I'm just throwing in there with it. So the cool thing about this is I'm using an actual array-based system, and I'll go ahead and show you that now. It's under map.js under the server file, and it's just all it is an array, built up array. It's because this is actually so incredibly small, it may not seem like it, but I think I figured up that even I believe it was 150,000 locations was very little. It was maybe like 200K, maybe less, but you're not transferring all that data at once. You're only transferring this right here, which this is actually I'll have to look at it again, but I think it's around 50 or 60K, so it's almost nothing when you're transferring this stuff. It's not that big, and really the file, being that it's on the server, it could grow to I mean, you could just literally, if you were just to take a file and make it 15 megs, you're probably looking at a million different locations. I mean, people could travel forever and never find every spot. So it's ridiculous how well this could work with Node, and how big of a place you could make with it. I mean, it really is ridiculous. So let's get into how I made it, and let me just warn you ahead of time. This is something I'm working on. This is something I'm building, and I haven't finished, so I'm giving it to you guys piece at a time. And when I give it to you, like this is Halls 1.0. By the 2.0 phase, which hopefully won't be that long, I can get more suggestions and comments from you guys and what we want to add to it. And if you want a different map system, we can even do a real-time map system. I mean, that's simple enough. And currently, I don't have other players on the board, but it's super easy to make it, and we can do that. We can do that shortly. We'll do that here coming up. But I'm going to go ahead and close this out, because I'm going to show you guys how to actually add this. Now, here's the thing about adding a lot of this stuff. It isn't as simple as just including files. There are certain divs that we'll have to place, and some of these things you're going to want to do yourself. But there is going to be a little bit of copying and pasting in this stuff. So to get started, let's look at our modules, and let's look at our client. And let's go to MudMap 1. I'm actually going to delete MudMap 2 because I don't need it. Let's open up MudMap 1, and cancel. Let me just get rid of MudMap 2. I thought I needed it, but I didn't. Okay, so looking at MudMap 1, you'll see I'm actually going into a class system. I'm building a player class. Now, I have included classes.js, and here's where I just build a simple JavaScript class, and I'm adding health, the target, the X, the Y, the position, X and Y, the name, the location, and this is actually his skill number. This is a test right now. I'm just kind of testing, and we're going to add more as we go. So, go back to MudMap 1. I'm creating a map variable. I'm doing a socket.emip. So when you first load the page, this is going to include this, and this is going to load, and it's going to do a get map, map A1 in the player location. This will eventually change, and we can actually do this right now. Let's just go ahead and change it just so we don't have to change it later. There's player.map. We go into our classes. We do this.map equals, and we're going to give it a default of that A1. So there we don't have to worry about it anymore. And I'm sorry about my code being sloppy right now. I'm kind of getting everything together, but I didn't want to. I've been making everybody wait long enough. So now we're going to break into. We're going to create a new image, which is a class, and the image is going to be the overland, which is the whole map thing. And then we're going to do a player image. Message list we already have defined, but I'm in the middle of moving that. And then we're doing a canvas, and we're getting basically the canvas element. Next thing we're doing is we're getting the map back. I'm going to come back to this. Next thing I wanted to show, because I think I left it out in the last video, and you guys may have noticed it in the chat.js, your chat submitted, which is just when you chat. You can kind of go through there and see how kind of easy it is. But here's where I'm actually breaking out the asterisk for the commands. And what it does is it checks the command, and down here you see your function of check command, and it will split it, and it'll say if you need the command right now. You don't really have to worry much about the arguments. We're going to get into that later, but I did throw in just an attack command. You can type in asterisk attack and goblin, it'll say you attack the goblin, but it doesn't really do much. The rest of the commands are going to come in out of the actual commands. I wanted to leave those in the actual functions. Let me save that. I want to leave that in chat because those are part chat, but actual commands are going to be our mud / a lot of other commands. So this you'll actually want to probably break out this check command right here and get rid of it altogether whenever you and just to kind of show you, because I don't think I've made any changes. Well, I don't want to do that because I have the server off, but let's go ahead and kick on the server, and I'll show you what I mean before I delete that stuff. I'm going to refresh, and if I was just to do asterisk attack, let's say goblin, and say, it'll just say you attack goblin, and the other person will see so and so attacked goblins. So I haven't really went beyond that, but there is a start of a mud command type deal. Let me refresh that and start that over. So you're probably going to want to go ahead and delete this out of your chat.js, or instead of deleting it, if you just want to pop in a well, it's not working, but I'm just going to delete mine for now. And then go over here, and because all this check command is going to be in the actual command.js now. So with that said, here's just basically the movements that I'm making. It's basically saying if there's an asterisk, well, it's actually splitting the asterisk north, south, east, west, and then it's moving the player, and then after it's going to get the map. Now what I'm doing here, and I'm trying not to be too confusing, is if the command is west, then it's going to move the player west, and it's going to do a draw player function, which is actually in the mud map, and all it's doing is saying draw image, redraw the image is all we're doing. We're just redrawing the image. So if we go back to our commands, after all this is done, I want the player to have to re-grab the map. That way, if there's no chance of client-side manipulation, so I'm having them re-grab the map the whole time. And this is just breaking all that out. Just doing commands to get the player in the right place. Because basically what I'm doing is on the map is that square, I'm doing 0, 1, 2. I'm doing an array based and building that map with that array base across there. So if you're here, you have to figure out how many squares away you are, and that's what I'm doing right here. That was kind of a pain. Then I have a new command just called lumber, and that's what I'm kind of working on now, is getting it to lumber. I don't really have anything built with that yet, but that's what I'm doing. This is just an argument error. If there's an issue, it's going to run the argument error and just say you're missing arguments. So basically that's what's in there. So let's get back on track. Back to MudMap. Inside MudMap, before you can do anything, and here's where, before I go any further, this right here is a command to quickly build maps, because I'm sure you were looking at that array and saying, oh my god, how am I supposed to do, build 144 spots? You can just use this, and this will quickly build your maps for you, and then I'm actually going to build a map builder later. So the first thing you want to do is you want to actually grab your you want to create a canvas. So go to your index, and I would create it. We're going to pop it in right here, and then we're going to go back to our mud map, and we're going to grab, since chat's, I'm just going to leave chat in there and go over the old chat. You need to make sure that canvas is above all this because it has to create the canvas first. So this is what you're going to drop in your index file. And then I'm just going to do this just to show you. It's going to look ugly on ours, but you of course, your game's going to have different, but I'm including this map stats in there, and I'm going to drop it down here. So I'm going to drop it at the very bottom. That way I know it's down below and out of the way. So this is what you need to add to your CSS. You at least need to add the canvas. So if we come in here and we drop that in there. So that's basically it as far as client side. That should include everything you need, get you started as far as there, I'm hoping. Next we have the mudmap.text, which is actually in the server side. And all we have to do here is we have to copy this first line. We go to our app, our actual server, and we can just drop it right here. So it includes our maps, creates those arrays. That way we don't have all the arrays built up in here. And then the next thing all we got to do is copy our sockets, our new functions for our sockets. And I'm just going to drop them right in there. And basically all they're doing is they're getting the map and the location. The initialized player, actually, to be honest with you, we don't even need this initialized player. Because our initialized player will work just fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that. I originally was going to have it we are going to need that later whenever we decide to put other players on there, but for now we don't even need it. So let's see. I think that's all we need, so let's give it a shot. Okay, here we go. So let's start up our server. Looking good. Let's refresh. Server didn't drop, that's good. There's our map. Our map stats, and I know, like I said, I know this looks ugly, it looks like total garbage, but it's only because I didn't mess with the CSS. I'm not here to build a game, I'm here to help you guys build a game. So let's test out north, and he went north. So let's test out just saying something. And he says, hey, so there it is. Simple map system, yet pretty dynamic in a way. If you look at your server, it's actually transferring that. It's not a lot of data, it seems like it. When you get a ton of players in there, it may add a little data to it. There's some other things we can do to kind of change this. But for now, I think it's a great map system that works pretty simply. And the beautiful thing of it is you have stats that you can actually change. We can actually come in here, and what I have going for HallsNode Part 2 or 2.0 is actually being able to mine right here and knocking these stats down, actually changing the picture as you mine, because if the mining gets below, let's say 25, then those are no longer rocks, and it grows real time.